Hey everyone, I'm Steph,
And I'm Megan.
and welcome to another episode of Late Night Reads.
This week we are talking contemporary romance and covering Kiss and Don't Tell by Meghan Quinn.
So let's start with why we selected Kiss and Don't Tell. First of all, we love Meghan Quinn. Her books are hilarious and have some amazing spicy scenes if you're into that, which you know we are. I don't think there's a Meghan Quinn book that I've read, not loved, or laughed out loud hysterically at some point.
I agree.
We also love a good series, and this is the first one in the Agitator series. Plus, it's about hockey. And so we know a couple things about Meghan. One, she loves shadow daddies, and two, she loves hockey players because her husband used to be a goalie. And
He
this book
did.
happens to be about a goalie.
Yay, we love a good tendy. I even have my husband's little goalie trophy. So
See,
cute.
we're into this, you guys. And then we love a good meet cute, and there isn't anything more unrealistic yet also perfect than a beautiful girl stumbling upon a mansion filled with single hockey men. Like, sign me up, please.
What a rough life. Also, I'm like,
Right?
what trail is she going up? Like, I want to find this. And here are a few things you should know about the author, Meghan Quinn. She is a New York Times, Amazon, and USA Today bestselling author. She's written nearly 80 books and typically releases multiple books each year. And this year it looks like we are getting a total of 4 new books. So, yay, that's exciting. She's a wife and a adoptive mother, and she has one of the best social presences of any author. She posts multiple times a day, and her videos are hilarious to watch.
Before we jump into discussing this book, a couple of things to remember. This episode will contain spoilers. We assume if you're listening, you've read the book, you've been warned. And this book does contain a couple of topics that may be sensitive for some readers. There are discussions of cancer, death, and emotional abuse.
Now let's talk tropes. First, we have a sports romance. The book is about hockey players, so of course it's a sports romance. I personally loved hearing all of the fun things from the sports side about their games and then how it relates to their personal lives and their emotional, just kind of what's going on in their heads between the game and their love life. So that's fun. Then you have different worlds. Pacey and Winnie live completely different lives. Pacey's a professional hockey player with millions of dollars, and Winnie right now doesn't even have a job. So definitely 2 separate worlds at the moment. Then we have found family. So from the very beginning, Pacey has a family-like relationship with his 4 best friends, and they quickly incorporate Winnie into their group once they realize how Pacey feels about her. So she becomes part of their family, which is something you see happen in other books in the series as well. So it's a really nice kind of you make your family from your friends. And she also has that with her friend group outside, like Max and Catherine. She finds her family and brings them in.
I agree. Now, there's a lot of drama in this book, so let's get started with our hockey boys. So this book is told through the eyes of Pacey Lawes, who is the goalie, and he's up in a cabin in Banff, Canada, which is gorgeous, by the way, if you've never been. And he's spending time with his 4 best friends. Silas Taters, who is also called Potato by Winnie throughout the books, which is pretty hilarious.
Tater tots. That's great.
Right?
I loved that.
I love that. Eli Hornsby, who I honestly, every time I read his last name, thought horny, which is also a good description of him. Levi Posey, and then Halsey Holmes. And it's the end of hockey season. Needless to say, they did not win the cup, so they're kind of just up in Canada being grumpy. And Pacey specifically is a little bit more upset than the rest of them, but they're trying to relax all together. The only problem is, well, the first problem is they get up there and the chef can't arrive because it's storming really bad, and they didn't bring any food besides beer
Typical.
and bologna.
Yeah.
So one of the weird things you'll learn about Levi Posey throughout the book, all of the books, is he has a weird obsession with bologna. And it carries through as a theme. It's it's disgusting. I don't understand it, but he loves it. So there's lots of talk of that throughout the books. But their trip is interrupted when Winnie shows up unexpectedly. So they're, this guy's trip. We're at this, they call it a cabin. It's a mansion.
It's a mansion in the woods.
It's a mansion in the woods. But she gets her car stuck on the mountain and starts walking down the mountain towards lights to see if she can get out of the rain because it's pouring down rain. And so when she knocks on the door, Silas, who owns the house, thinks that she might be psycho because he's also like recovering from some personal drama with his ex-girlfriend that you'll learn more about in book 3 if you read it. But Eli, who is weirdly the level-headed one of the group, is like, lets her come in. And it turns out like she has no idea who any of these players are. She doesn't know anything about hockey. She doesn't know who the Agitators are. You know, they're saying maybe you're psycho, and she's saying maybe you're psycho. It's kind of funny, and it makes more sense when you meet Catherine later, who one of her best friends, who has convinced her that everyone is going to kidnap and murder her at some point, or basically anyone. And then we get this kind of like interesting situation where Pacey obviously is like instantly kind of attracted to her, but he's like, she looks really familiar, but he can't figure out from where. And so when I first read this, I was like, did he sleep with her and like doesn't remember it? Or did like one of the other guys sleep with her and they don't remember it? Like, is this some sort of like weird?
Yeah.
Because there's lots of talk about how like throughout the book, right? How some of them, mainly Eli and Posey, are definitely players. So that was kind of like my first thought. And basically everyone thinks that she's hot because she's a beautiful girl. But here's the most important part. She has snacks.
Of course.
So, right? And
we always have something in our purse, you know?
Exactly. And so like that's what she brought. Like she got snacks out of her car when I got stuck. And no one wants Levi's bologna, so they share snacks with her. Because she didn't book a hotel to come to this place, but she did make sure she had snacks. So she's a girl after my own heart, right? Like you gotta have the snacks.
She may not have a plan, but she's got food.
But she's got food. And she also doesn't have her car keys because she left those in the car, which is kind of hilarious. But the guys offer her a room to stay the night. Well, like everyone wants to except for Potato, who is like pissed at the world right now because of his ex-girlfriend. But you'll learn a lot more, especially in Right Man, Right Time, about what's driving his anger. And it is a doozy.
Oh my gosh. So. Yes. And then the next morning, Winnie goes to leave to get her car, which, by the way, is a Mini Cooper. So she's like, Winnie and Minnie. I'm like, that's kind of cute.
It's really cute.
Yeah. And Pacey insists on coming with her. And unfortunately for Winnie, her car is super stuck. And even though she attempts to make it with Pacey to get it like unstuck, it causes it to end up in a ditch. And now they require a tow truck. So she is going to be staying with the guys for a little bit longer, it looks like. But Pacey is able to get her suitcase and keys out of the car. So at least she has those. But yeah, who leaves their keys in a stuck car? Like, I understand she's like, it's not going anywhere, but like, but also could have. But right? Don't leave your keys in there. So then Pacey has to talk to the guys and literally convince them that like Winnie is going to stay with them. They think it's best because all the hotels are completely booked up. And it doesn't hurt that Pacey is clearly attracted to Winnie, and Winnie might be interested in him too. We also learn here that Pacey has a half-brother, Josh, and that he's like a major dick, huge asshole, and Pacey does not have a relationship with him. But his dad keeps calling him and saying, you need to talk to Josh because he has something to say. You need to have an open heart about it. And Pacey's like, whatever, I'll deal with this later. I don't really feel like it right now. So that's kind of like a mystery that we see throughout the book. Like, what's going on with Josh? What's he hiding? But now we're going to talk about Winnie's best friends, Max and Catherine. Especially Catherine, who is our paranoid girl that is convinced someone is going to try and kidnap you all the time. She doesn't love that Winnie is staying in a house with strangers. Like, she's like, blink twice if you're being held captive against your will. And that girl listens to too many crime podcasts for sure. She's like always making sure people have switch knives with her and like pepper spray. It's nuts. So if you didn't have anxiety before meeting Catherine in real life, then she'll give you anxiety right now. And then thankfully we have Max, who's like the super loving gay best friend who is totally about the situation for Winnie because he knows exactly who the agitators are and how hot and sexy they are. And the whole time he's even like, there's one of them that's gay, hook me up. Like, I want his number. So it's kind of cute seeing like how Max is trying to wiggle his way in there too.
Well, it's also funny, like when you think about this little friend group, there's part of me that's like, how did they become friends with Catherine?
I know. Like, how did, like, yeah, like, why is she sticking around? I don't know. But maybe there's a story to that, but I don't know how Catherine fits in here. But she's fun for the plot.
She is. So it's time for dinner, and Winnie is very much like, I don't want to impose. She feels really bad about interrupting their trip, but Pacey obviously is like, no, spend time with us, or me, whatever. And then they have the series of like funny moments where he jokes and tells her that the guys that she's a project manager for NASA and she's been working on something related to like the Mars Land Rover.
Oh my
And
God, so funny.
she goes along with it. And so you have like these other four hockey players who are listening to her like spin lies about what she's been doing in her room and the math equations she's working on. And they all believe her.
Oh
And
yeah, they're
with
so gullible. They're like, whoa.
like that's so cool, right? And it's funny. And then like finally it comes out, right, later that none of that's true. But I think the banter helps her feel more at ease and the rest of the guys, because what she was doing in her room was Googling all of them now that the internet was back. And so, there's two things that she's realized. One, they are who they say they are, and they're pretty important in the hockey world. And two, she's talked to Max, who basically has convinced her like they're hockey gods.
Yeah.
And she needs to do like whatever is necessary to hook up with one of them, it seems like. So she's got a little bit
out
of like anxiety.
cabins. Yeah, out of all the cabins you could have stumbled upon, this was the best one by far.
Right?
And then it was funny when she first arrives and they're trying to like convince her that they are hockey players and they're like trying to do like a makeshift hockey game with like their like little stuff in the room, and it's just like hilarious. Like I can imagine a bunch of guys being like, "Oh yeah, we can totally do this. Like, look at me go. Do 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 do."
Right? You know nothing about hockey, but doesn't this me doing this with like an umbrella make sense to you?
Totally, right?
Sure.
She's like, "Okay." But you're not going to kill me, right? Okay.
Right?
Good. Yeah.
So after dinner, Pacey and Winnie hang out and they have some cider, and he tries to get her to open up because she's kind of closed off throughout the book. And he keeps coming back to like, she looks really familiar. I feel like I know her from somewhere. And he does mention that to her. That he's
and they're
like,
like,
you
is
look
it a
really
past
familiar.
life?
Yes.
Is it a past life, a past love?
Right?
Maybe.
So it's not like he's hiding that, but he's not as forthcoming later when he remembers like exactly where he knows her from. But
Yeah.
most importantly, they play the most interesting and custom game of Jenga that I have ever heard of. I have never seen a Jenga piece ask me questions like, who would you fuck, Chuck or Mary? What's the favorite body part of the person sitting across from you? And what is your favorite sexual position? And please act it out. So,
My God. I want to play this game though.
right?
I
Well,
might actually take my Jengas and like start writing on it and be like, this is the adult version. It'd be fun.
So I have so many questions. Like, obviously, it's a great way for Pacey and Winnie to get closer together. Pacey knew what the game was about. He was very good at not pulling the ones with questions. But the boys created the game and then would play it together?
Some boys are
like,
so insane, honestly.
And
I
this
would love
group
to watch
definitely
it.
is. I would love to watch it. But it starts to get a little hot when the last one is Winnie having to act out her favorite sexual position, which is she's very uncomfortable to do, which brings up a couple of things about her previous boyfriend and their sex life. Turns out it was based on whatever worked best for Josh, and he didn't really seem to care about like Winnie having pleasure whatsoever. And so it's kind of like embarrassing because Pacey's like, well, you've had an orgasm. She was like, well, I mean, maybe. And he's like, if you say that, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Like, you would know.
Yeah. You should know if you had an orgasm.
Right. But I think what I liked about it, even though I know it was like a really awkward conversation for them, I think what was nice was it was probably pretty accurate for like what a lot of, I think, other women who've been with male partners who care more about like themselves getting pleasure than giving pleasure. Like, I think Winnie's situation is very relatable.
Yeah.
So
like it's always about the guy getting off, not necessarily the girl getting off too or first or yeah. And like the sex position that her ex-boyfriend Josh made her do was literally missionary. And it's like, okay, like that's where you start. But then it's like, that shouldn't be your favorite because it's the only one. But then like you have that moment where like he's on top of her and like they get caught and they're just like, oh, you're playing Jenga, I swear.
Right?
It was a pretty funny moment.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. And so this is also when Pacey realizes that Winnie looks familiar because she is his half-brother's ex-girlfriend. The same asshole Josh. And when she's like, oh, Josh never let me do this, he's like, Josh, what? Huh? And it clicks because he's seen her in pictures before on social media with his dad. So like when his dad went to go visit his half-brother, he sees a picture of Josh and Winnie. And he's like, oh my God, that's where I know her from. But he's torn because he's like, do I tell Winnie about this? Because he doesn't want her to suddenly not be interested in him because of the connection to Josh. But he also doesn't like hiding it from her. So he's kind of like in this limbo of like, do I tell her? Do I not tell her? Let's just see how things go. And then Pacey stops by Winnie's room later to check on her. And it takes literally all of his self-control to not kiss her or want to do more. So he just literally takes care of himself in the shower later, just thinking about her and everything that happened and just like fully jerks off in the shower. Which I'm like, I wonder how many guys have actually done that, like in that house, like just jerked off in the shower, because they all said they've never had a girl there before.
That's true.
So I'm like, well, you got to relieve yourself somehow. Yeah, probably a lot. Like that, oof. Those pipes are filled.
Filled with something.
Filled with snow.
Both types of pipes, probably.
Both types of pipes. Oh my God, yes. That's hilarious. And so after he relieves himself the next day, Pacey convinced Winnie to go to the gym with him. And, you know, he's a professional athlete, got to keep up the workouts. And the workout he has her do is definitely more intense than anything she's used to. Note to self, never agree to work out with a professional athlete. I would probably literally get my butt kicked. And we see they do some like squats. And he's like right behind her, right behind the bar, and she's like squatting down. And she's just like, oh my gosh, like my butt is like almost right up against him. And they definitely have some cute sexual banter, which I love, just like, because I'm like a flirty person. So I would totally be like that in that situation, being like flirting and being like, So I'm like, yeah, Winnie, you've got some mojo here. You can do this. But she's not too confident yet. And then we later see Pacey take Winnie into town, which feels a little bit like a date, even though it's technically not. And Winnie ends up buying little gifts for each of the guys that Pacey helps her pick out, which is like super sweet. So she's trying to just kind of make it a sweet gesture for the boys to be like, thank you for letting me stay with you. I got you something. Please don't hate me for ruining your boys' like getaway. And then she also gets to see what it's like to be with a famous hockey player, where fans notice who he is, want his attention, and want to take pictures with him. And so I think at this point she's a little bit like in awe of him, like, oh wow, like you are a big deal, like, and you want to spend time with me? What? And he even like holds her hand on the gondola ride, and now it's feeling like a date, gotta say. And one of the most meaningful parts of their afternoon in town is when she tells him about her mom's brain cancer and how her mom passed away. And now she's just trying to kind of pick herself back up, put the pieces of her life back together. And then how in the middle of all that she was going through, Josh broke up with her during it. And at this point, we already don't really like Josh based on like the vibes we get from Pacey and then also from the lack of sex from Winnie. But now we're like, you're a douchebag. Like, who breaks up with their girlfriend when their mother is going through chemo and like all this shit? Like, you're an asshole. And so we hate Josh, and Winnie is sharing why she's really there all of a sudden, which is to actually steal a trophy, not this one, a trophy from her uncle that her mom says that she rightfully won years ago in like a competition thing that they did. And it sounds crazy, but she's like, you know what? My mom deserved to win that, and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go there and I'm going to steal it, and I'll figure it out from there. And it's insane, but Pacey's like, let's do it. Like, I'm going to support you on that. That sounds awesome.
I love that part, like that when she was telling that story, I was like, that sounds really crazy. But here's the thing. I think it was also like a great way for her to still stay connected to her mom, right? It's like the last thing she could do now that her mom was gone. So Josh has mind fucked Winnie for their entire relationship. And one of the results of that is Winnie like has pretty much like no self-esteem. And so when Pacey tells her that he's like very interested in her, she's kind of like shocked and doesn't understand why,
Yeah. Which is
which is really
sad.
sad.
It's like you're a beautiful girl inside and out. What do you like? I hate that when I see my some of my girlfriends who are single and like if their self-confidence is down because of a guy, I'm like, screw him. Like you are so much better and like fulfilled in life without a guy. Like you don't need this. So it's sad to see her down on herself for sure.
It is. But then we get to the hot tub. So when they get back to the house, Winnie is like, it hurts to walk because this is what happens when you work out with a professional athlete. And so Pacey's like, well, let's go use the hot tub because this mansion has everything. The only downside, she didn't bring a swimsuit. She is not prepared. So like she has like two options. She could be naked, which I'm sure Pacey would enjoy, or she could wear bra and underwear, which is what she decides to do,
Which he also enjoys.
which she also enjoys.
Just
So
seeing
she's
her hot body. He's like,
right? He's
mhm.
very much here for it. And she's very
Yeah.
self-conscious, right? Like about it. And one of the things I love about Pacey is that he's very much like, you're fucking sexy, like to me and to like every other guy in this house.
Yeah.
And so when she like takes her robe off and like to show him what she's wearing, and he's like, you need to sit on the other side of the hot tub so I can keep my hands to myself.
And it's funny because he's like, I was hoping you were wearing pink underwear and like a pink bra. And she's just like, ooh, I am.
Yeah.
Like she knows how to flirt. She's still flirting a
She
little bit.
does. I think
So
so.
it's kind of a little bit like how Stella got her groove back, you know? It's like, how was Winnie
Yes.
getting her groove back? And you're excited for that.
Then we learned that Josh is really more of an asshole than we thought because he apparently got on her about gaining weight and told her
Oh,
it didn't make him find her as attractive, and that's why he didn't really want to try in bed with her anymore. But I'm like, first problem. I don't think Josh ever
hmm.
tried in bed.
Yeah,
Number
clearly
two,
not.
right? We don't talk about a woman's weight. We don't talk about anyone's
No.
weight. It's not
No.
okay. So,
No.
and then Pacey responds by telling her how much she turns him on, and then how he masturbated to thoughts of her earlier. Which like should be a good like, hey, I do. Like he is confirming, I think, every time she brings up insecurities that
Yeah.
he is very much attracted to her, that he thinks that she is worthy of the attention that she's getting from him,
Hmm.
which you'd
And
like to
he's like,
see.
I like a little ass. He's like, I like your curves. He's like, this does it
Yes.
for me. He's like, I don't want a stick figure girl. He's like, I want the curves. He's like, I love everything you're presenting.
And I love
You're
that for
like,
her.
yeah. And every woman should
Then
have that, you know? Like
exactly.
everyone should have, and man, like everybody should have like a partner who loves their body and like loves them for who they are, no matter if you've gained weight, if you've lost weight, if you're, you know, feeling self-conscious, like you're just there to pick yourself up and like to have a partner to be like, I love you no matter what, and you're gorgeous to me. Like that's solid. And I'm like,
I agree.
kudos to you, Pacey.
And then they finally
Love it.
kiss. And the big
Oh,
thing is that Winnie kisses him first, which is really great. Like he's been really trying to like be the good guy and keep his like hands to himself. And she
he's
finally
being a
like gets what she
gentleman.
wants, which is good.
Yes.
And she said it's like one of the best kisses of her life. And then she texts Max, who tells him all about it. And Max is like the gay best friend that every girl needs because
Hmm.
he's like, you go girl, I am here for this. Tell me all the details.
But then he's like, why'd you stop there? He's like,
Right.
girl, you need to get some. Like, go back in there. Go finish
This
the
is what I
job.
said. This is what
Yeah.
every gay best friend, every girl needs.
Hmm. And then the next day, Pacey and Winnie agree to pick out activities based on who wins rock, paper, scissors. Because it's raining outside, they can't do anything about the car. So they're stuck in this mansion. Oh, what a rough life that must be.
Right? What will we
So they're
do?
like, what will we do? Maybe have sex? No, not yet. But so they do rock, paper, scissors, and the only rules is it can't be X-rated. So honestly, right there, I'm like, well, that's a bummer.
Same.
And she's like, the clothes have to stay on, no hands under your undergarments, but we can kiss. It's like, okay, they're like getting to know each other. She's setting the boundaries, fine. I'm like, but we all know what's going to happen, honey. Sexual tension is going to explode. So they end up playing the golf simulator, which is really cool that they have that in there. And they kind of have a cute little moment where he like shows her how to do it. She's just like this. But she does a good job. And like when she does a good job, she like runs over and kisses him. So it's very sweet and just like very young love kind of moments.
Yes.
And then he makes a picnic for them in the little loft area. And he's like, let's ask each other personal questions. And he's doing really good so far with the romantic activities, considering he's never had a girlfriend before. And they end up later playing water balloons with the guys, which is so funny because it's clearly like a bunch of like muscular, like sportsy boys and like little Winnie. And they actually all team up with Winnie against Pacey. And at first, like he like picks her up and is like, I'm carrying you to safety. You're not getting hit by a water balloon. But then she turns on him and then they all turn on him. And it's just like a funny moment where like they bond and the guys start truly welcoming her into the group, which is really cute. She's like one of the guys in a way, but like also is like a beautiful female. But unfortunately, the next day, Pacey has a really terrible migraine and it's just like debilitating. He can't talk, can't eat, like is in like dark room. And the guys are taking this really seriously because Pacey, we discover, had a head injury while playing hockey. And that's also very serious. And I personally relate to that because my husband had a very severe head injury when he was playing hockey as a goalie. He got hit and had to go to the ER. And it was terrifying for me. Like I was 8 months pregnant and I had to go to the ER and like see my husband on a gurney. Like I was crying. And he had a concussion just like Pacey did. So Pacey had a really bad concussion. The guys are really worried. They want to call the doctor because the doctor said like if more migraines happen, we need to get you checked out like even further. And so here, Winnie offers to talk to him because it reminds her a lot of what happened with her mom who had brain cancer. And so she offers to take care of Pacey for the rest of the day. But Winnie is also then kind of distracted because guess who decides to text? It's Josh. Josh is now trying to kind of mindfuck her again into her life and saying hi. And it's just like a whole thing where she's just like, you're too much. Like, stop, buddy. But the hockey boys come in and have a serious talk with Pacey about his head and how he needs to see the doctor and he doesn't want to go because he's worried that he's going to find out there's something wrong and that he's going to have to hang up his skates and he's not going to be able to play hockey anymore, which again, my husband can relate to. It was traumatizing for him when he had to quit. But it's like, your brain is important. You need to take care of that. So he doesn't agree to go until eventually Holmes, the other hockey guy, says, if you don't go to the doctor, I'm going to tell coach. And if coach gets told, then they're automatically going to be like, can you play? Can you not play? Should we trade you? Do we need to bring somebody else in? It's like he sees his entire career going like down the toilet. And he plans then, he agrees he'll go see the doctor. And he plans on leaving the next day via private plane, of course.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? Yes. Because remember, they're in Banff and like the doctor's in Vancouver. So like it's a little bit of a trek. But throughout this time, it doesn't help that Josh also keeps texting Pacey. So Josh is texting Pacey and Winnie at the same time, but like hasn't realized yet until this moment that Josh knows that Pacey is with Winnie. Because when they were out in the town, someone took a picture and posted it on social media and Josh sees it. So he's like, are you ignoring me because you're with Winnie? Like, you're with my Winnie. And Pacey gets so pissed off about this. He's like, she's not yours. You let her go. You let the best thing in your life go and you treated her like shit. Like, fuck you, buddy. So their relationship is clearly not going well.
Well, and I wonder if Josh ever would have reached out to Winnie if he wouldn't have seen that photo of her and Pacey together, right? Like it's just one of those, like, he didn't want her, but now that someone else has her, like that, ooh, I hate that.
Yeah, you're just like, what? Like, stop trying to live rent free in somebody's head. Like, ugh, we don't like Josh at this point.
We don't.
Mm-mm.
But then we get to have an
What?
honest conversation between Pacey and Winnie about how they feel towards each other, right? Winnie's like scared and talking about leaving after she like stealing the trophy back and needing to process her feelings because like she's starting to feel things for Pacey that she never even felt for Josh, and it kind of freaks her out a little bit. And then Pacey is like, "No, like I want you to stay. I want to date you." Like he's thinking about like the future. And that's really shocking for her because like she doesn't believe that she's good enough for him. I think she doesn't believe she's good enough for most men right now, but definitely not for someone like of Pacey's stature. And Pacey tells her like that she's worth it and he'll wait as long as it takes, which is like a really good swoon-worthy moment because he's like, as long as you keep talking to me, like I'll be here.
He's like, I'm not going anywhere.
Right?
So
And then
cute.
so cute, right? And they part ways for the night. But then they start texting each other, which turns into sexting and then ends up with Pacey in her room. And they end up having really hot sex, which,
Yeah. I mean, how could you not see that coming, first of all, when they're
right?
like, the sexting was pretty good. Like, it was a smut book in itself. You're like,
Yes.
oh, yeah. Like, and I get that. Like, you feel the confidence of, like, I'm not next to you. I can just kind of, like, feel free in what I'm saying. But it's like, girl, he's, like, two doors down. You know he's going to be coming in there to, like, get some action.
Right? Well, and it was cute
I,
because like when he's very like uncomfortable doing it, she's like, I don't know what to say or do. And then she like writes stuff. She's like, I just wrote the word cock. And I'm
yeah,
just
she's
like,
like,
yes, go girl.
I'm like, yes, you did. Good job. Oh my gosh. So, so great.
And we'll talk more about their sex in a minute. But one of the things that I like is it was this huge realization for Winnie that like that is what sex is supposed to be like because she's never felt anything like that before. Which I also think is something that like could be also relatable to a lot of other people, regardless of what type of relationship that you're in.
Yeah, if you don't have good sexual chemistry or you just don't communicate and you don't get your needs met, like there's a big difference when you finally are with somebody who does.
Yes,
And it's just like, girl, a whole new world opens up for you. And I'm happy for you because you deserve
I'm
that.
very happy. And the guys are happy for Pacey
Oh, they're
because
so happy.
the girl, they two of them were loud last night. And they refer to Pacey making duck sounds, apparently.
God, yes. Like, was that a donkey? Was that a duck?
Duck. Like, what was that sound, Pacey?
Yeah, I'm
And,
curious. I'm like,
right,
I don't
like,
even. Is that an
or are they
attractive
just like
sound?
fucking with him, right? Like, just to just screw with him.
Okay. Yeah.
And they're like, well, you know, like you having sex makes you more agreeable to go to the doctor. And he's like, well, I canceled my flight. I'm gonna drive down with Winnie. And it's really cute because like when Winnie comes in, they all get really quiet.
Oh, yeah.
And
They're
then
like,
he's like, I and then like I think it's Silas who steps in and goes, he didn't say anything. We just
yeah,
like, I
we
mean,
know.
we know.
I mean, we all know.
We all
Yeah.
know.
But he was very concerned. He's like, this isn't locker room talk. Like, I'm not here, like, giving the boys details about everything. He's like, I'm being a gentleman. And they stick up for him. They're like, yeah, no, he didn't say anything. But, you know, good for you, honey.
Which is hilarious because I think he is probably the only one out of the five of them in the series that doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the girls in the series, like the ones that, and like Winnie, and then as you see in the other books, when they come together, they're probably more locker room talk than
Oh, yes.
the guys
Oh,
are.
yes. For sure. And you know what? I don't know about you, but like I've noticed that also in my life. Like my husband and his guy friends, like they don't really talk about it. They're just like, oh yeah, mm-hmm, yep. And us girls were like, oh yeah, we did this and this and this. We used this toy and blah 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 blah. And one time my husband saw my text and he's like, oh my God. He's like, you guys go into detail. And I'm like, well, yeah. Like, you don't? They're like, no. I'm like, well,
I think it's like this weird thing. I feel like that's how guys were when they were younger. And it was not
yeah.
like in detail, it was just more of like,
Yo, I hooked
oh,
up.
exactly. And now I feel like when you get some really close girlfriends, you're kind of just like, women, I feel like, come into their sexuality later, like in terms of confidence, oftentimes. And so it's kind of like, I don't want to fuck around and like figure this shit out. Here's what I'm doing. What are you doing? Can you, like, what do you like? Like, what works for you? Have you found any toys that are helpful that I should maybe purchase?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I've sent some toys to friends. I mean, like, here's a link. I'm like, you'll love this. Use this for date night. This is fun. We can do always a podcast. We can do an extra bonus episode on toys we recommend. That'd be
There's
fun.
a lot of toy usage in this series.
There is.
Not in this book.
Not in this
but
one,
others.
but later. Okay, so a different scene now. We get to the scene of Winnie stealing her mom's old trophy from her uncle, and it is so hilarious. The lines about breast milk, you're just like, what the fuck are you doing, Winnie? Like, she's awkward, and honestly, I get it, because I'm also awkward as fuck sometimes, where I'm just like, why did I say this? I don't even know. The gibberish coming out of my own mouth. She needs to get better at lying.
She commits to it. Like, that's the best part, is like, she just, it's not that she said it, but she like is 100% like, I just am gonna go with this about why I like breast milk.
Yeah. And also, I love her humor, because when she's like awkwardly with Pacey, she's like, top my hat to you, sir. And I'm like, yeah, you're weird, but I like it. I get your weirdness. It's great. It's awesome. So the whole thing about the breast milk is she's trying to like basically pump time basically from her uncle, who is getting, so she sneaks into, well, she knocks on her uncle's door, is like, hey, like, you're my uncle, what's up? And he's like, I wasn't expecting you. And she's like, of course not, I was just in town randomly. And she's like, can I come in? Can I have something to drink? And he's like, well, I have milk or water, which is a really weird thing to offer to somebody. She's like, I want both. It reminds me of breast milk. And he's like, what? And she's like, yep. And again, it's just a distraction to try and like keep him busy so she can grab the trophy. And he comes in and she's like, see ya, sucker. And just like runs and like takes the trophy, and she leaves her shoes behind and literally's like, Pacey, hit the gas. Let's go, 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 go. And the uncle's like, you get back here, you thief. And it's just like hilarious. And she goes, suck on my breast milk. And Pacey's just like, did you just say what I think you said? And she's like, don't worry about it. So I'm like, it's fine. It's all good. And I'm just like, that scene is so funny to me, because also it just shows the playfulness of Winnie, and that Pacey's right there with it. And he's like, I'm game. Let's go. Like, this chick is awesome. So I love that moment for them, that bonding time. And then they get to Pacey's apartment in Vancouver. And their first goal there is to get in the bath, which I'm like, I love a good bath scene or shower scene. I love a good sex scene. But it's really juicy, really awesome. We will get to that bathtub scene. And then we also get to read a funny exchange between the boys about Pacey and Winnie. And their banter is so funny. It's just entertaining. And he admits to them that he's falling in love with her. And it's really clear throughout the book that all 5 of the guys are family to each other. And they're just like, we're here for one another. Like, even the mansion in Banff, they're like, if you decide to sell it one day, Taters, like, I get dibs, and then if I sell it, he gets dibs, and it's staying in the family. So it's really cool to see that it's not only a book like about women and about like our romance, needs, but it's also like a camaraderie, which is cool. So the next day, Pacey goes to see the doctor and has some tests run. And they don't have the results right away, but the doctor does tell him that if it's a brain bleed or a nerve fiber damage, that you're probably done playing hockey, which of course causes Pacey to spiral and is like freaking out, because he's like, this is my life. Like, hockey's my life. I live, breathe, eat it. What am I going to do without it? And, that'd be the same for anybody who like has this very specific joy and purpose that they feel in their life, and they're being told it's taken away. So it's bad. He's not in a good place, not in a good headspace, literally. And he goes to the grocery store to buy flowers then for Winnie. So, which is really cute, because even though like he's had a bad day, he's like, I want to do something for the girl that I love. And he sees Winnie talking to Josh, who happens to also be at that same grocery store. And it's just like,
now lives in Vancouver. Like,
yeah, like he now lives there. And Josh also wasn't expecting to see Winnie, because he's like, last I knew you were in Seattle. Like, what are you doing here? And it's like a really awkward moment between Winnie and Josh, but they don't know that Pacey's there. And so Pacey is back at the apartment, and is going to confront Winnie about this. And he like had thrown the flowers on the counter and like is really pissed, like drinking a beer, just trying to like chill himself out. And he asks Winnie about Josh. And he's like, I saw you with someone. And like, I saw him kiss your forehead. It's like, is that who you've been texting? Like, are you really texting Josh? And she's like, it was innocent. It was nothing. And then she's like, wait a second. How did you know that was Josh? I've never shown you a picture of him. How did you know? And that's where he has to come clean that Pacey and Josh are half brothers. And at the time, when he kept being like, there's some weird like connection, why did I feel like I've seen that look before from Josh, from Pacey, like what? And everything comes together and it's like a huge bomb that she's like, oh my God, you've known this whole time that my ex-boyfriend is your half brother. Like, and now she's having some trust issues for sure. And then she drops the bomb on Pacey because he's being a dick. And she's like, you know what? The reason why I was embracing him and like being kind to him is because Josh told me he had cancer. And Pacey's just like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, he had prostate cancer and that's why he was pushing me away. Like, yeah. And at this point, you're kind of like confused yourself. You're like, well, I feel bad that Josh had cancer and, you know, that sucks, but it doesn't really give you an excuse to be an asshole to everyone else. Like, you still should have been there for Winnie and like, you shouldn't have pushed her away and said all those cruel things to her. And basically, Pacey and Winnie are now fighting about this. And Winnie's just like, you know what? I don't like that you don't trust me. And you clearly were lying to me. And I don't need that right now. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You don't. So she packs up her bag and walks down the hallway. And it's just like, dude, you just fucked up the best thing in your life, buddy. Like, you should have come clean. You should have gone chasing after her. But he didn't.
Jealous.
Shouldn't have been jealous.
Thanks. So she heads back to Seattle and she's like brokenhearted because even on the drive, she's like, this wouldn't have been that hard for us to like date long distance. And she tells Catherine and Max what happened. And then she realizes like during that conversation with them that like, oh, I didn't even really find out about Pacey's tests. Like maybe like that also was weighing on him, but she doesn't like bother reaching out to him because she's convinced herself like it wouldn't last anyways. It's almost like she thinks like this was like a holiday romance. This like wasn't real, like is what she's trying to like get herself to believe. Because Josh like really did a number on her self-esteem. Because even like with telling her that he had cancer in a lot of ways, it's like, you know, one of the things he says to her is, you know, like, let me prove it to you that I'm changed or that like I could get you back or whatever. And I'm just like, you were like, if you didn't want to be with her or you wanted to push her away because you had cancer and you didn't want her to deal with that, that's one thing. But did you have to say that like all of the hurtful things to her that you did?
Yeah. It's like there's no excuse for telling a woman that she's no longer attractive and that you don't want to have sex with her. Like, he says that the reason was, you know, like because he had prostate cancer, he couldn't get it up. And that's why he couldn't have sex. But it's like, I mean, honestly, buddy, like, you know Winnie at this point. She's a very understanding, loving person. Like, she would never, like she would be there for you.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
He fucked up.
Still hate him.
Still hate him. Still, I'm like, you're a douche.
You're a douche, right? Well, Pacey tells the guys via text that he fucked up. And so then they all just like descend on his apartment, which I think is like a theme you see with them throughout the book. They're always like there for each other. And they're like, we have to get you out of this funk and we have to make a plan to get, I think he kept saying like, get our girl back. And he's like, you mean get my girl. And they're like, I mean, like same. Cause like she really has become part of the family. So like, they're like, first step, finding out what the doctors have to say. Second step, talking to Josh. Third step, we befriend and woo Winnie. And I'm like, this is a very simple plan, but also sounds really great and logical. And they don't have to wait long. They find out from the doctor that there's like basically nothing majorly wrong. He's going to need some physical therapy. It'll be fine.
Hallelujah. But they do find out that he has the Atlas disc. It got moved forward. So like he has to be careful with his head. So which is why he has to do like very specific PT so that he doesn't aggravate anything. So I like to make the point of that because same thing sort of with my husband. He has a bone spur on his C1 vertebrae that we found out from one of his accidents. That like basically if he were to get another really bad concussion or like head injury, it would push into his spinal cord and he would be paralyzed or dead. So it's like, you have to take care of your brain. You have to take care of your head. So even though like Pacey is going to be like, okay, it's like, he still has to be cautious and like not get any more concussions and like build up your neck strength and everything. So, whew.
So after that, he talks to Josh. Josh apologizes for like always being an asshole and is like, maybe could we one day like be friends? And Pacey's like, I mean, not now, but maybe.
No.
Right? Yeah. It's like the thing that you say to someone where you're like, I really am trying to be polite. Sure. Like probably a cold day in hell, but sure. But then the wooing happens and the guys like all work together to craft the perfect text to Winnie. And some of their suggestions are hilarious. It's just
one of them's like, hey baby. It's like,
right? They're just all, and this is like another theme that you see throughout all 5 books where they like try and help each other out. And sometimes the main character isn't as good as getting their phone away from one of the other guys and those texts get sent. But
yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, especially anything Posey's suggesting. He's got some good suggestions. But like, thank God for Holmes, who is like the quiet one, but knows like exactly what to write. It's always like the silent ones that have a way with words. And wait until you read his book. He's not my type because that man has a way with so many things.
Yes.
So many things.
It helps when you read a lot of books, you know just what to say.
Right?
I'll take it.
Good point. And what to do.
And what to do. Oh, here's a manual and he read it. So the texting continues with the help from both of their friends because, Max is also there helping Winnie figuring out what to say back. So it's like a huge group project where everybody is rooting for them to get back together and they're all just like, say this, say that. Did he text back? Did she text back? Like, ooh, 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 ooh. It's cute. And then it's time to woo. Pacey messages Max on Instagram, so he slides into his DM, which I'm sure Max was like, a hot hockey player sliding into my DM, but it's like, nah, he's not for you though. That's wrong one. So, bummer. But he's like, I need to get her address. I would love to start my full court press with extremely thoughtful gifts, like her favorite cider from their lunch date. So it's like a little blueberry cider, which I'm like, I want to try. That sounds great.
Right. It sounds good.
And there's a huge taco theme in this book. And not necessarily the sexual innuendo, but also like they love tacos, which I'm like, I love tacos. I was craving tacos like every single time they mentioned it. I was like, damn, should I go over to like Del Taco right now or like one of the really good Mexican places around here and get some tacos? Because yeah. And so he sends her tacos. He sends her cookies. And he also sends her the game Guess Who, which is just so cute. So they're like having little dates via FaceTime, playing games together, much like what they did at the cabin when it was raining, just like having fun, dating casually, getting to know each other. And they still text each other throughout and have a few calls, and then they upgrade to FaceTime. And again, Pacey's really working on building that true friendship with her, which he knows like she needs that given what happened between them and all the insecurities she had with Josh. So he's like, let's start with the friendship. We started too fast earlier with the physical stuff. Like, let's step back. And he really tries and he really does a good job. And then she finally says, I miss you. And that leads to him heading straight to Seattle to surprise her. Doorbell rings, there's flowers, and she's like, oh, what beautiful flowers. And behind the flowers, there's Pacey. And it's so cute. And then they have hot, hot sex that requires them to rent a hotel room rather than stay in her apartment. So that way nobody hears any duck noises.
Right?
So good.
It was really good.
So good.
So this book felt like a kind of a 3 for me. Like we got some good scenes, but like it's not the later books in the series. Yeah.
Three's a good one. Yeah.
I think so. So we have like chapter 9, right, where Pacey is thinking about Winnie and takes care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
We have
Take
them
care of the shower.
Right? A little love from self-love. Chapter 14, where they get a little handsy before they get in the hot tub, which is why they have to sit apart in the said hot tub. And then we get to chapter 18, which I know Megan already has a page pulled up for.
I do, of course, naturally. Oh wait, that's chapter 9. Oh yeah, no, ooh, chapter 18. Oops, I had chapter 19 ready. Oh yes. Okay. So she literally is just like, I want you, Pacey. And he lifts up so he can look me in the eyes. I want to fuck you bad, but I want to make sure you get what you need first. She's like, you did. Like, and he's like, no, you need more. So he's very much like, I am going to take care of your needs. Because again, he's like, I remember you had missionaries. So I'm going to introduce you to a whole new world, honey. And he literally like makes her go on all fours and takes her from behind. And she's just like, I've never felt that spot before. And he's just like slapping her ass. And I'm all for a good ass slap. I was like, yeah, woo. And she's just like begging for it. She's like, I need you inside me. Like, I need you. And he's like, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear. I want you to beg for it. And so it's just like super like the taunting and the sexual tension. You're like, yes, go, please do it now. Like, I'm rooting for them. And it's just like, he slaps my ass again. Pleasure vibrates through my bones. And he's just like, okay, I'm not a big, like, I don't like to say the word pussy. It's a weird word for me. It's like the word moist, you know? But he loves it in this book. And he's just like, I need this pussy. And she's like, then take it. And I'm like, oh God, yeah, okay. Like, she even says, oh Jesus. And it's good. And he's just like thrumming her from behind. And you're like, good for you, girl. You finally got a new position unlocked.
Like, you finally understand what sex is about.
Yeah, she literally was like, oh my God. She's like crying out his name. And she's like breathless, smiling into the mattress. So I'm just like, her head's like slightly pushed down. You're like, oh, damn. Yeah. I'm happy for her. Finally. Okay. So then so that's the first like really big sex scene, which is amazing. 5 stars. Then you get chapter 19, which mentions they have sex 3 more times that night. But then Winnie gives Pacey a blowjob. Yes. Which then Pacey goes down on her in the bathroom because he reciprocates as a good gentleman should. But with this blowjob, which I think these books are very good on giving instructions. So if anybody needs any tips, this is a nice one. So she literally is like, she takes him all the way into the back of her throat, sucking hard. And he's just like freaking out, yelling, fuck me, like, oh my God. And she does a nice little trick here. She sticks a little finger up there in the back. And I don't think he was expecting it. He was just like, oh my God. He's like, he slammed his fist against the wall as her finger presses into his tight hole. And you're like, oh, okay,
I wasn't
Winnie.
expecting her to do that either.
I wasn't. I'm like, you go from missionary to then basically doggy style to then now you're feeling confident in yourself and you are giving him a little booty pleasure. Like, good for you, feeling it. And I'm also like, where was this for you, honey? Like, but also like she's having like a sexual awakening where she's feeling free to explore everything. Like, she full on, like, as she's giving the blowjob, she's like grabbing onto his balls. Like, she's figuring it out. And he's all for that. He's like, yeah, you can do no wrong. He's like, I'm here for all of this. Everything you're doing, like, you can stick your finger up my bum. I don't care. Like, it feels great. So, you know, maybe if somebody else wants to try that out in their lives, read this chapter and see how that goes for you.
Also, that's very true about like all Meghan Quinn books. I do feel like if you are trying to better understand different things that you could do to give yourself pleasure or give your partner pleasure, she does a really great job of giving you like a little mini how-to.
Yeah. Like saying like, this will probably be better if you spread your legs a little bit wider.
Yeah.
And like move your hips this way. Which
hold on to your knees.
Yeah, hold on to your knees. Like, don't be like embarrassed. Like,
right.
Like, no one's gonna look at your body and be like, ew, I don't want to have sex with that. Like, they're already kissing you. They're already naked. They're into it. They're gonna do it. Like, no one's gonna turn away. Like, just go for it. Enjoy yourself. You deserve to have pleasure. Okay. And then chapter 21's the bathtub scene, which is my personal fave. because, a good bathtub is fun. And she was just like, do you want me to like touch myself? And he's like, no, I can't see you. Like, I want to be able to see you. And she is very insecure about this. And he's like, turn around. Like, you turn around, you get on top. And she's like, I don't know what to do. And he's just like, I'm not him. So I want you to do this, because she's, insecure about the position. Because she's like, last time I tried this, like, Josh told me I was fat. And it's like, fuck that guy. And he's like, I'm not him. Trust me, I want to see you ride my cock. I need to see you take control. I want to look in your eyes when you take me bare. Again, now they're ditching the condoms. He's like, I want it. Because she's on birth control. And it's just, he also helps her. He's like, I'm going to help you. Like, sit up on your knees. Like, sit here. He's like, now reach down. Like, do this. And he's just like, lean back. Which, this scene, I was like, I want to try this. He's just like, okay, put your hands behind your back and like push your chest forward. And then he just like goes to town on her nipples at the same time. And I'm like, oh man. Oh God. And I was listening to this on audiobook, honestly. I was at the car wash and I'm like drying my car and I'm just like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, thank God I'm wearing headphones and nobody can hear me, because, oh my God, it was a good scene. So, chapter 21, bathtub scene. You're welcome. And then, of course, in the epilogue, they reference a lot of hotel sex, which is also fantastic. But, I mean, the best ones were 18, 19, 21, basically.
Agreed.
If there had been at least one more sex scene, I think I could have bumped it up to a 4 pepper. That's kind of our thing, I'm like, we just need one more.
But I feel like that's always been my thing. Like, we just have like one more.
We just need one more, please. It's like orgasms. You just need one more.
Yes. Just need one more.
Just need one more, please. But, great bathtub scene.
Agreed. So, opinion-wise, we got a couple on this one. Their meet cute is pretty unrealistic. It screams like initially like stranger danger. It's funny now because if you think about how we were raised in like the 80s and 90s, it was like, don't talk to strangers on the internet. Don't get in a car with strangers. And now I literally talk to strangers on the internet every day. And
we take Ubers everywhere.
Like, we take Ubers, right? It's just so bizarre. So, but it is weird. Like, I can imagine staying in a house, assuming I wasn't married, obviously, with 5 guys that I don't know. Like, they just show up and I'm like,
Yeah, I would be on Team Catherine on this one, where it's like, you are going to end up in a really weird, like, circle jerk or get kidnapped or, like, sent off into, like, a sex traffic thing. Like,
right.
Honestly, I'd be very much paranoid, just like Catherine was. Like, oh my God.
Same. And then can we talk about, like, everything that Pacey says? Because his dirty talk is 10 out of 10. Highly recommend.
Oh my God, yes. His sexting skills are amazing.
Very much. You can learn a lot from that man. And I would say it's also like a theme with all 5 of the guys in the series. They're all extremely hot, dirty talkers. Every single one of them. So,
which is funny because on the ice in hockey, like, you have to, like, they chirp. That's what they call it. Like, chirping is like literally like yelling at each other when you're like, dude, like, that's what your mom said last night. Like tell your mom to stop calling me because so-and-so's mom is also calling me and I'm trying to please so-and-so's mom at the same time. Like, they are chirping at each other. Like, also, if anybody out there is also like a big hockey fan, like basically watching like Shoresy, which is a really great hockey show. It's hilarious. Or, just pretty much anything Letterkenny is great. But just like all the quirps and chirps and everything, like, tarps off, boys. Let's go. So I love the hockey boys, clearly. And they talk good. They have good dirty talks. Now, also, we have to say how much we hate Josh. He doesn't need a redemption arc, I felt like. Like, it just kind of felt like an excuse for his behavior because of the cancer. And, like, it's like, dude, you suck before everything and you still suck. So I'm like, Meghan Quinn, let us hate him properly. We don't want to feel bad for him. But, like, she also does kind of mention that, like, one of the reasons why also Winnie was not still a fan of Josh was because he was just thinking about himself in terms of like, I realized I did need you to take care of me. I wish I told you so you could take care of me too. And it's like, you're a selfish dick. Like, you're trying to push me away, but then you wish you hadn't pushed me away so that I could take care of you. No.
No.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you, next.
Not happening. Mm-hmm. So, didn't really need to feel bad for him at any point. But, you know, it's probably like, I don't know, something in the universe there for Josh. Who knows? Who cares? Bye-bye. But it was nice to see Pacey take the time to get to know Winnie as a friend before trying to restart the romantic relationship. Because typically we don't see that happening in romance novels. Usually the breakup is followed by like a super short period of time and then suddenly they're back together. So this was like definitely like a slow burn in that sense, where it's like they get hot and heavy and then slowly fizzle and then come back to life. You're like,
yep. It was a nice like change up, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Which
did
also they say in hockey, don't they?
Change
it up? When they like change lines or something?
Oh, yeah. It
was on the Mighty Ducks. That's my hockey. It just like level set. I think I've been to one hockey game and I know a lot from the Mighty Ducks.
There you go.
So
hey, I got the Ducks right here, Anaheim Ducks. That's funny. I love a good hockey series. So I'm really fun for this book. And especially, like I said, my husband's a goalie. My husband actually looks a lot like this guy.
He kind of does.
I like my husband has long hair. He puts it in a top knot. And I'm just like, and I'm a little curvy girl. So I'm like, is this us, honey? Like, maybe we'll role play later. I'll be Winnie and he'll be Pacey. In the bathtub. I just need a bathtub. I don't
That's
have
big
a big
enough for
bathtub.
two.
Yeah, I don't have that. Bummer.
I don't either. Right?
Ugh. Bum. But anyway.
In terms of what's next, if you love this book, we think you'll also love the rest of the series. We're covering the second book, Those Three Little Words, in a couple of weeks on the podcast, but just wait till you read Right Man, Right Time. He's Not My Type, and So This Is War. They are way spicier than this one. Way spicier.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot even begin to describe to you how kinky Posey is in the best of ways.
In the best of ways.
In the best ways. Plus, we're just huge Meghan Quinn fans, so you really can't go wrong with any single one of her books. Current faves, I would say, if you're looking for more, she has the three about the Kane brothers, So Not So Meet Cute, So Not Meant to Be, and A Long Time Coming are really great if you like billionaire rom-com trope. Also, her Almond Bay series, The Way I Hate Him, Why I Married Him, and A Path to Loving Him are also extremely spicy and very, very good too. And then if you're looking for something that's not Meghan Quinn, Lynn Painter's The Love Wager is also a really great book that kind of has, I think, like a similar type of, like, it's hot and heavy, then it slow burns a little bit, and then it gets hot and heavy again.
We're here for that. We're here for the hot and heavies. And join us next week when we dive into the world of romantasy and we discuss The Never List by Jade Presley, which so far, very steamy.
Very steamy.
Join us. You will enjoy. You're welcome. Thanks,
Happy reading,
everybody.
Everyone. Thanks for listening to Late Night Reads. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Late Night Reads Podcast. And check out latenightreads.com for even more information about all the books we're reading. If you loved today's episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And share the show with your fellow book lovers.